They didn't really look like creating much, you know, from open play. Just a lot of crosses and set pieces, but look what it means to these guys. These guys have won Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, and they're celebrating. What a win this is.
How telling was Pep Guardiola's reaction at the full-time whistle for you, Tim?
Never seen anything like it. Like Owen's right, they win Champions Leagues, they win Premier League titles. I haven't seen a man react like that. He's been under immense pressure this year. You know, he's welcome to football management. You know, it's a reality check. You know, actually losing football matches and fighting to reach something, and it's the last thing they can hold on to. Yeah, they're in the FA Cup. You wouldn't put it past them to win that, but you know, they need to be in the Champions League, this group, and that was a massive result for them. The game was going nowhere, absolutely nowhere. But I've sat here and I praised Unai Emery and I praised Pep Guardiola. It's really hard to criticise either of them, but Unai got it wrong. He got it wrong when he brought Disasi onto the pitch, in my opinion. As soon as he brings him on, I think straight away I said to him, well, Doku's going to come on now and he's going to cause him all sorts of problems. And that was where the game was won and lost.
Pep Guardiola applauding the home fans, the Manchester City fans specifically. He urged them for their support in the run-up to this game, which was telling in itself. He called it a cup final, which adds to the occasion. And they rose as one, just as Mateus Nunez's far post strike hit the back of the net. Manchester City into the top three. Unbelievable scenes then at the Etihad Stadium. Right, much more reaction to come on that.
In the challenge, I think City will definitely qualify for the Champions League. I'll say that, but my neck on the line now, especially after such a late goal. So I think that's a good thing for a few of the teams. Aston Villa probably got the most ground to make up, but then I look at the fixtures at Aston Villa and I fancy them. They won a lot of them fixtures. You know, Newcastle's second last game's Arsenal away. That's a tough fixture. You hope they might still be in Champions League and be distracted by that perhaps. So there's all ifs and buts, and maybe even Ipswich at home you think, oh, it's an easy game, but you just never know when a team's more or less relegated. The pressure's off. There's all sorts of permutations, but it's a great race, isn't it? It's a great race.
That's what makes it a great race, the fact that it is so difficult to predict and that it's changing all the time. We'll reflect on that again very shortly, but let's get some more Aston Villa reaction now. Yuri Tielemans is with Juliet Farrington.
Yuri, in a matter of seconds, it just changes, doesn't it? You could see the reaction amongst the Villa supporters, amongst the bench in front of me, in front of Unai Emery. That's pretty crushing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's so frustrating to lose last minute of the game, where we fought really hard. We blocked pretty much everything other than their goal, their first one. And then, to lose like that on that last action was so frustrating.
It's those moments, isn't it? It could have gone off to such a perfect start with Marcus, 17 seconds into the game. Obviously, he gets you back level with the penalty. But it's those moments that change, and then right at the very end. Yeah,
well, we get the first chance, they get the last one, they score, we don't. That's football, you know. Like I said, it's just really frustrating.
But you're still in it. It's still so intense. There's still so much to fight for, isn't there? And there's still these places that are up for grabs, which is what you want to achieve.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got 4 games in the Premier League left, so we're just going to give our all, hopefully get a good result in and be back where we want to be, and hopefully be in the Champions League positions. But we just like I said, disappointed for tonight, and we just have to analyse and see where we can be better.
Analyse and then pick yourself up, you know, to go into the FA Cup, and that's something else you're trying to win this season as well. Yeah, definitely. Saturday we've got the semi-final, which we hopefully can win, and then we'll see from there. But we're now full focus on that. But yeah, we're gonna be having a tough night, and then focus on that. Recover well, go well this weekend. Thank you. Thank you.
And the players will say, we need to recover from this, we need to focus again on the remaining fixtures, the FA Cup semi-final, the 4 remaining Premier League fixtures. But how hard is that to do?
Well, it might be helped that now they can go into the FA Cup and just step back from the league. And we mentioned before the game about your big players turning up. That was a big mistake from their experienced goalkeeper as well. You don't need that at this stage of the season. You're thinking maybe 1 or 2 of the young players might come up short. But when you look at your spine of your team, your rock-solid players who've been there and done it.
For the opening goal,
for the first goal, you don't need them big mistakes. But Villa are a decent group, and this is where they'll step. They'll recover from it. But this is the opening goal, and we talk about poor defending again from Villa. Players just not quite doing their jobs. Come down to his weaker foot, Silva. Shea's mentioned a goalkeeper. Good. Still takes something to me. I keep looking at it, and to me, I feel it's a penalty. Pep, of course, now they'll move on because they've won the game.
Up goes as a foul. And Diaz is the opposite reaction. He goes not a foul. So I think it's the right decision.
Yeah, not given on the pitch, but VAR sent Craig Pawson to go and have a look at it. And then Marcus Rashford, with a big moment in his Villa career, a former Manchester United player, or on loan Manchester United player, coming up against Manchester City. But Pep Guardiola is still furious and got himself booked for his protests. In terms of Marcus Rashford's chances, this one, the first of them, came after just 17 seconds. How involved?
You make it. I still think areas he can improve on, but when he's making runs of that and he's getting that service, you ask the defenders, Marcus is a nightmare to play against. More strikers probably say, yeah, he goes around him, but it's a tougher angle. But look at his movement here, a little layoff, and it's almost impossible to stop. Once he's got grass in front of him, he's impossible to play against. And this, is he a little bit unlucky? I think he should maybe hit it first time. And again, another huge moment in the game. Yeah,
and there was a lot of pressure on him coming into this game because there was all the noise around Ollie Watkins and the fact that he was on the bench. Marcus Rashford preferred to him in the starting 11, and whether or not that was justified the conversations, they were going on anyway, and then he comes up against Manchester City and has to take a penalty. Games in the Premier League, that's their best run this season since October, and what a way to win this one. Pep Guardiola is with Juliette Farrington.
Pep, if you're going to win matches, important, huge matches, and you're going to have a grandstand finish, it's nights like this.
Belongs Liverpool, especially how many times with Jurgen in the last minute scores, Arsenal as well with Mikel. We are not used to. So I'm really, really happy, you know, for the goal that we scored at the end, because we are in the last 4 or 5 games and you know, with a Champions League contender, you know, qualification, like is Aston Villa, like is, you know, Aston Villa is a team like in the last month approved. It's one of the top of the best teams in, you know, in Europe, and we play really, really good in all departments. In our aggressive, in our duels, the back four was unbelievable in all departments. So yeah, I'm really pleased for the game we played.
You just kept going, and in that 94th minute when you scored that winner, and you talk about you haven't had that feeling for a long time. What was that feeling like to have it back again?
Come on, so football is emotion. The feeling for the fans, for the players, for ourselves, so how important. We have a lot of pressure, you know, for the club go to the Champions League next season, and the last 2 games, Everton away and here Aston Villa were so difficult, and the players behave unbelievable, so we are really pleased in that terms.
I think you celebrated for more than half a minute. I've never seen you jump so high.
I was so happy, yeah, I have to admit it. So that moment I said, okay, try to don't lose the game, because 1-1 is not a bad result, but it's not bad. But the action from Jeremy, I know how he can create something for his pace, and after that assist was brilliant, and we arrived players in the box, you know, a lot of players. So football, if you are in this business to live the disappointment, but always the good moments.
But also, when you talk about that word and emotion, you use that word emotion, you go through every emotion, but at the end, to have the emotion that you have, it's what keeps you going.
Yeah, it had to do. So the team fought a lot. So the performance was really, really good in all departments. It's a team like they can play, they can run, and they associate each other. So it's a fantastic team. So and we were able to do it.
I know you don't look back and think it hasn't been the season you want it to, but all the players now have accepted that, and it's clear they've accepted that, and they are going and they are driving forward to what can be achieved. When you look at it, do you think this could be a real special season, bearing in mind you've got the FA Cup as well?
The season has been bad. So it's not so it's going to happen the last month and a half. So the season has not been good. It doesn't matter where it's the final, with the incredible tough against Nottingham Forest, or qualification for the Champions League. So the reality is that. So what make you feel the season is good is the Premier League, not the Champions League, not the FA Cups. It's the consistency in the Champions League and in the Premier League, and we have not been. But it happened, you know, and sometimes you have bad seasons for many reasons that everybody knows, but you try to, until the end, to try to avoid the damage. And of course you can qualify for the Champions League, because look the team. So Liverpool was already champion, will be champion, and Arsenal, what can I say, but look the other ones. Chelsea, Aston Villa, Newcastle, ourselves, and Nottingham Forest now come up. So the level of that team is outstanding. So that's why always made this step to go there is really important. Okay.
Very quickly, but you have the semi-final this weekend, an opportunity to go to the FA Cup final. You have this great opportunity now to play in Champions League football next season, which is what you wanted it to be. But you've just spoken about the feeling and having it back, and how important is it to have that feeling back for this stage of the season with the remaining games to go?
No, since the Bournemouth game in FA Cup, the team changed. We can play good. In Old Trafford, for example, we don't play good. In the game against Everton, Goodison Park, we didn't play good. But we fought, we were there, we tried to win duels, and that is the principle. And this season we didn't have that. We didn't have the energy for many reasons, for situations that I know perfectly. We didn't have that. But okay, never is late, and good lesson for the next season.
Keep smiling, Pep. Enjoy the weekend.
I will.
He was just about smiling. It came on 93 minutes and 21 seconds. Incidentally, for comparison, Sergio Aguero's winning goal that won Manchester City the title, 93 minutes and 20 seconds. That's how late this goal was. But he said we don't get that feeling very often at Manchester City. Only 2 teams have scored more goals than Manchester City this season in added time. So he's used to that feeling, what he's trying to achieve, and that sense of relief.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the standards they've set over the last 3 or 4 years, and they've just come off it. I think he's been really harsh on his team there with his comments in. It's not been good, obviously not been consistent. They had a tough start, obviously a huge setback with Rodri, and they've not been at their very best. But that was always going to happen. But I still think if they can win the FA Cup and get in that Champions League, then it's not bad going. But it's just because they've set the standards so high over the last few years that any sort of drop-off kind of does look back. But if you step back, and I'm sure Pep will with the staff, come this summer, look at the bigger picture and go, considering all the setbacks and disappointments we had, even missing Haaland tonight, this group of players have dug in. For all their qualities, you've got to dig into the professional footballer, and they've done that again tonight. I'm not saying they were brilliant to watch or creating loads of chances, but they found that bit of will and that spirit and somebody off the bench to create something. It shows a good mentality from their subs. I thought probably Villa's subs lacked that when they came on. I don't think they gave them any sort of impetus. So that's why I would give all the credit to City tonight.
Yeah, it's been unusual for Villa not to get any kind of momentum from their subs. That's something that's worked for them so far this season. As for Manchester City, can both things be true for City, Shay? The fact that it has been overall a disappointing season, but from where City have been at times this season, that to qualify for the Champions League and win the FA Cup can make it to bring a degree of success.
Yeah, it's kind of like the perfect storm, as Roy mentions the injuries and they're 4 times Premier League champions in a row. At some point they're going to drop off. They're going to be a bit of a dip. The team will need rebuilding. Of course, Pep will have to do that over the summer as well. But they're 3rd in the Premier League. It's not like a crisis. They're sitting halfway down the table. They're in an FA Cup semi-final at the weekend. Again, the likes of De Bruyne will leave in the summer, and I'm sure he'll want to leave with his hands on one final trophy. But it's not been a disaster. I mean, Pep has not always looked at his happiest this season. I mean, that celebration was the most I've seen him celebrate probably ever, But again, it shows how much he still loves the game. He's emotionally involved with the football club, and I'm sure he does want to be a part of the rebuild and bring the good times back. Not that it's that barren at the minute, but you understand what I mean. Bring the Premier League title back to this football club. But yeah, there's been a lot of key players missing, and he mentions Rodri. It's such a long time ago now, but he's the Ballon d'Or winner. Like he's a top player, missing all season. But it's Liverpool's time this year, and City, I'm sure, will bounce back next season.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola said he's not too used to celebrating late winners for Manchester City. Unai Emery, though, and Aston Villa are used to conceding late goals. Only Southampton have conceded more goals in added time than Villa. This time, they've gone down 2-1 at the hands of Manchester City. Here is Unai Emery with Juliet Farrington.
Unai, so close to a point. I saw your reaction when Manchester City scored their match-winning goal. You looked crushed, and you knew the impact of what that goal has done.
Good evening. We can't waste time. We lost the last minute this match, but we compete well. We were close to draw. We were trying to win the match as well with the players I chose, trying to get good impact. But of course they did the same, and they scored it, we didn't score. And overall in 90 minutes, of course, they dominated more, but we played very good competitive match, and we had our chances as well. We have to accept it, take a lot of positive things. Now is moment to try to be positive. Everything we are doing, I am going to analyze the match, try to get a lot of information through it, but use positive things for Saturday in semi-final and try to separate now each competition. We are going to play against Fulham in 10 days. Now we are trying to focus quick and positive the match on Saturday.
It is a very quick turnaround. Talk to me about the positives then. What did you take from this tonight that you can take into your remaining fixtures?
We analyze, and of course everything we did before as well. We got a lot of positive information about everything, tactically, individually, and try to get full energy, positive energy for Saturday.
What have you said to the players at full time?
The same. And I am sending here the message is be positive, try to accept it, and we can't waste time now. We have to keep going and be positive and prepare the match for Saturday.
You've been in football so long, you know it's all about moments. You had those moments 17 seconds in with Marcus, could have scored, hit the post, and obviously they go and win with probably the last moment of the game. It's so intense, these Champions League places, these European places which you want to be competing in next season. You still have every chance of getting where you want to be.
Of course, we are playing in this level, and we want to try to keep the level we are achieving last year, 2 years ago, this year, and try to be very, very demanding in our way, how we can build as a stronger structure in everything. And today we play, we compete. I am so happy with the play, how they did. We lost, of course. I am disappointed, but I can't waste time.
You can't waste time. Can this drive your players even further and get even more out of them in these remaining fixtures?
Tomorrow rest, day off, and Thursday, Friday, positive and work hard to prepare the match against Crystal Palace.
Will you rest?
Yes, I will rest tomorrow. Yes, a little bit.
Well, enjoy your rest and good luck this weekend. Thank you, Unai.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you.